Hello people, I am Jabby Kawai, joined by Char Kirk.
Hello.
And we're looking at Luka Chupi, the official trailer with Kartik Aryan, Kriti Sanon, Dinesh Vijan, and Laxman Uttakar. This comes out March 1st, mark your calendars. Let's check this out. I'm excited, I don't know why, but I am. Laxman Uttakar is not in the movie, he directed it. Just a quick aside, I just realized that as I was looking at the YouTube information with the video. Anywho.
हाँ भैया, शादियों का सीजन चल रहा है। जैसे अभी अनुष्का विराट की हो गई, दीपिका रणवीर की हो गई, यहाँ तक कि प्रियंका और निक की भी हो गई। तो मैंने सोचा मैं भी कर लेता हूँ।
ओ हेलो भाई साहब, ये क्या कर रहे हो?
भाई साहब, मैं तुम्हें शादी के लिए पूछने आया था।
शादी? पागल हो गए हो क्या?
पर बॉस, मुझे क्या पता था कि मैं इस मॉडर्न चुप्पे में फंस जाऊंगा।
एक काम करते हैं, हमें ना लिव इन करना चाहिए।
ये बात कहाँ से आ गई शादी के बीच में?
जी शादी के बीच में नहीं, शादी से पहले आता है। हमें भी ट्राई करना चाहिए ना, आजकल तो सब लोग कर रहे हैं।
होटल में रहना लिव इन रिलेशनशिप नहीं कहलाता। अगर वो करना है तो होटल बुक करा।
नहीं, हमें वो नहीं करना।
वो नहीं करना मतलब? मतलब हम वो सारी हरकतें करेंगे ना जो पति पत्नी करते हैं।
तुम ना ज्यादा उछलो मत।
So she doesn't want to be married?
No, she wants to live together first.
Okay, just to get to know each other.
Yeah.
एक टीका लगाने में माले तो पहनी है। मैं रहती हूँ।
अजी सुनती हो?
अच्छा बेटा, तुम्हारी शादी को कितने टाइम हुआ है?
एक साल। 6 महीने।
पक के शादी क्यों करी तुझे? मेरी इतनी अच्छी लड़की है। जरा से कपड़े कम है पर
शर्म नहीं तुझे सब करने से पहले? हराम खोर कुत्ते, उधर क्या देख रहा है? इधर देख, इधर।
समझ गया मैं, आपकी शादी नहीं हुई है और आप सबको उल्लू बना रहे हो।
एक्चुअली हमारे पास प्रोटेक्शन है क्या?
है ना, बहुत सारे अलग-अलग वैरायटी के।
Wow, he was ready.
मम्मी स्ट्रॉबेरी।
Uh-oh.
He was ready.
पहला लिव इन होगा जिसमें पूरा परिवार साथ में रहता है।
त्रिवेदी जी की बेटी ने भक्त के शादी कर ली।
अरे तो शादी करी है ना, बिना शादी के तो जना रहे रहते।
अगर बिना शादी के रहते तो क्या होता?
तो बेटा जमुना जी के अंदर कई सारी लाशें तैर रही होती।
गुड्डू शादी कैसे करनी है?
गुड्डू को ना पता कैसे करनी शादी। गुड्डू तो इतना उतावला हो गया ना कि अगर जहाँ कोई हवन और मंत्र पढ़ने वाला मिल जाए ना तो यहीं कर ले शादी।
Oh, cute.
वो ना मेरे मोबाइल का डाटा खत्म हो गया।
That's really cute. It's kind of giving me flavors of Badhaiho in that it's taking something that, you know, it's basically
true.
taking tradition, turning it on its head, and then challenging us, challenging society to be like, well,
Well, right, challenging
What
all the
about
notions
this?
you take for granted because there are modern notions that don't fit with what you've grown up with.
Exactly.
The traditional mindset versus the modern mindset.
right.
I didn't even think of Badaiho until you mentioned it. I guess that makes sense because I was thinking, wow, it did feel familiar in terms of the tone and sort of the moral of the tale. Like what we just explained, but
Well, even the music and like the fun font and stuff, it's very reminiscent of that. And I really like that. I love that they're kind of exploring this topic that is, you know, potentially quite serious, but taking a comedic spin on it. And it looks hilarious.
it's interesting to me this idea that it's so foreign because in the States, stereotypically, you'd find that girls are the ones who are pushing towards the long-term thing.
Right.
The marriage, kids, all that stuff, locking the guy down, ball and chain. In the States, like, you associate that with girls, even though that's not really 100% true. There's a lot of girls who are more modern and want to just get to know a guy.
Right.
But I think that, you know, swiping on OkCupid, finding girls in their late 20s and their 30s, women in their late girls in their late 20s and 30s, they're often saying, don't swipe on me unless you're serious.
Right.
And so I'm used to this concept that women are the ones who are actively looking for something to like really settle down with. And so whenever I see that, I'm like, well, that's like foreign to me.
Well, I'm
You know?
wondering as well, and I don't know, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but are there more men than women of marriageable age in India right now?
I think there's just more men than women in general.
In general. Okay. So then that means that the women have the pick of the bunch. They can,
Right.
they don't have to be, I'll take whoever because there's no other options. There's literally, there's options galore. You can be picky.
No, I do know somebody. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I do know someone who is in India, living there, and is a woman, and does things in the way that I associate men doing in the States, like having a one-night stand, or not a one-night stand necessarily, but having a very short-term thing
Oh yeah,
with
like dating around.
intimate situations that happen, and then being like, you know what, I'm done. I'm gonna move on to someone else, and moving on quite rapidly to someone new. And that's just, you know. And so all of this is I associate with, it's just like I'm wrapping my head around it because it's new. It's like, it's, even though it's not the first time I've seen it in film or Indian films, it's still relatively new for me, especially with what I'm seeing on my end with the dating apps and whatnot. She wants to take things in this particular manner because she believes in getting to know someone first.
And I don't think that's a bad idea. I think
No.
it's a good idea because at least you know that you can live together and you're compatible in that way. Because sometimes you could get married and then find out that you absolutely cannot live with each other.
Well, I mean, it goes both ways. Because I feel like, depending on the two people, if you are not having a love marriage, but, you know, your parents arranged it, I think that, I mean, I used to not, but I think that there is a possibility of it working out very, very well. Because it's not exactly like black and white, like you just meet these people for the first time and then bing, bang, boom.
Right.
Like there is a sort of courtship involved where you get to,
Right.
you talk to the people and you go through a process. You're like, okay, this could work, and then everyone agrees and celebrates and brings out the sweets, right? I mean, there is that process, and it does seem to work for a lot of people. What scared me away from buying into that was the movie Nirja, because it was just like one data point, but she was like abused by her husband that her parents set her up with, and that's based on a
Easily-
true story.
Yeah, I mean, easily that could go any way.
Right, no, exactly.
right?
And so it can happen with a love marriage as well. You know,
Yeah.
you just never know. So, but it's ultimately what I'm driving at in a long-winded way is that whatever it is that you feel is right for you is what you go with, right, at the end of the day. And so you make that work. And so for her, she feels like for her, the best way to do it is to actually live together first, to get to know what it would be like to actually live with this person. So you can kind of extrapolate from that over the next 100 years. This is what that relationship would look like. And then she can feel comfortable to move forward to the next stage.
Right.
But it was just confusing initially because I was like, does she even like the guy? Like, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little strange.
Yeah.
I think she's kind of playing with him, and she has the power. You know,
Right.
She goes, "Oh, let's do a live-in," and then he's like, "Okay, like I want you, so that's fine." But I think it's hilarious that now the whole family comes into it, and they can't tell them the truth because of how they're going to be perceived, how they're going to be judged for what they did, and then mayhem ensues.
Right. Well, I mean, he's obviously, like you said, she holds all the cards, as women often do. So
Yeah, that's right.
He's playing by her rules, right? And he's caught himself in a situation that he knows would profoundly upset his family. And he takes that moment in the trailer where he goes, "Well, what if we were living together? I mean, would that be?" And then Dad's like, "Well, then there'd be several bodies in the something river, right?" What it looks like to me is that by the end of the film, he's gonna come around to seeing her perspective. Like he's doing it begrudgingly. He's doing it because she wants that, not because he wants it. He just wants to jump the gun to the next level. And I think he's going to come around to seeing her perspective in the end and defending her.
I don't know. I think she might come around and be like, "Let's get married."
Both of them. I think both of them. I mean, you saw what she
Yeah.
agreed to some kind of thing.
Well,
But
they were doing like a weird little like ceremony with their friend officiating, and then it just failed because his data plan ran out.
yeah, I did see that. I watched the trailer with you.
I know. Just reminding you.
What I'm saying is that I hope that most of you have watched Bad Hai Ho, but what happened in that film, I liked it. What happened in that film is predictable to a certain degree, right?
Yeah.
Because he comes around and he ends up being the one to defend his family in the end, right? And so I feel like what's going to happen here is dude is going to come around and defend her decision in the end.
Right.
Similarly, it's a similar plot structure.
I mean, I think you're right. I think we can see where it's going, but
Right.
that
Yeah.
doesn't lessen the enjoyment at all.
Of the adventure.
Yeah, the adventure is what we're buying into, and we're buying into the family. Like, I remember in Bad Hai Ho, I was just like, I love the family. Like,
Right.
the grandma was amazing, the parents, everyone.
Obviously, what we're here for, because we know the plot structure is the adventure, is just kind of being on this journey with them and seeing how it all plays out. We know the like beginning and the end results, and it's like that's not what it's about here. It's about how do they get there and the comedy that ensues because of it. My big hope, because I know I'm going to end up watching this, my big hope is that I get more of the jokes here than I did in Bad Hai Ho. But like both in, I think it was Stree.
Yeah.
Is that the horror one?
Yeah, the horror one.
Stree and Bad Hai Ho, there was like some jokes that just went over my head because I knew it was cultural. And I'm
Yeah.
like, damn it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, like, I'm thinking maybe this is something that we can understand more. You know, it's relationships, it's family.
Yeah.
We've had those, and we have families.
Yeah. I think the condom joke I saw coming. I was like, okay, yeah, I
you
mean,
did?
the kid is naturally going to find that. I mean, the kid's going to find that. Like, it's the worst possible thing that could happen. I think that was kind of borrowed from 40-Year-Old Virgin a little bit because, I mean, it was a different circumstance where Steve Carell is like, did you see 40-Year-Old Virgin?
I
Like,
did,
he's
yeah.
trying to get the condom open and there's just a bunch of condoms all over the bed and the daughter comes into the room. She's like, how many times have you guys had sex? And it's like, they didn't have sex at all. So there's always something that goes wrong with that kind of stuff. It's because when you have that awkward sort of situation where nothing's actually happened yet,
Right.
it just gets exacerbated. I'm almost certain that nothing actually happened.
And it's always a cute kid who's an instigator as well. Like, I remember in Underdone, it was that little cute kid who's like figured it all out and was really annoying.
Right.
Like, I see this kid and I'm just like, I love your chubby cheeks, but I will punch you in the face.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Be honest, be verbose. How do you feel about this? What are you excited about? What are you not excited about? Tell us why. All the things. Also, Achara Kirk, she's on the internet with an Instagram account and a Twitter account. She's on Instagram more, but that doesn't matter. You should follow both. And subscribe if you haven't already. Check out our other reactions, reviews, and short films. I'm Jabby Kawai. This is
Achara Cook.
Peace out.